Los Angeles suddenly became a global spotlight not because of the release of a movie or a megastar concert, but because of one appearance that shook the fashion stage: BTS's Jin presence at LA Fashion Week 2025. Without prior official announcement, the idol appeared on the main runway in the closing session of the Spring/Summer collection, surprising the entire audience and creating a wave of reaction from fans around the world. Is this just a one-night stand, or is Jin carving out a new chapter in his post-military career? It didn't take long for the international media to make headlines. Jin appeared dressed in an experimental black avant-garde outfit with asymmetrical cuts and contrasting marble, textured line accents combining masculine strength and artistic expression in one strict silhouette. While the professional models kept their calm expressions, the cameras focused on one figure that exuded a different kind of charm. Jin standing in a confident manner, breaking the ice on the runway, and captivating industry observers who had previously doubted the serious involvement of an idol in the world of high fashion. Not only the local public was shocked, armies from all over the world instantly turned LA Fashion Week into a global trending topic. In less than an hour, the phrase "Jin at LA Fashion Week" occupied the first positions on Platform X, Twitter, Weverse, and the international fan community. The reaction of the fans was no joke. Some cried with pride, others expressed surprise that Jin had never given the slightest hint of his participation in the show. Many also suspect that this is a strategic move by HYB and certain international brands to make Jin the most influential Asian men's fashion icon of the year. Even more astonishing, Jin's presence was not limited to guest stars. Based on the observations of fashion journalists who were directly on the set, Jin allegedly became the main muse of one of the young American designers who is now on the rise. The interaction between Jin and the designer after the show also confirmed these allegations. They appear to do a professional hug before together returning to the stage to receive a final applause. Is this the beginning of a long-term collaboration? There is no official statement, but the symbolism of the moment is too strong to ignore. A number of fashion observers did not hesitate to call Jin's appearance that night the most daring fashion runway debut of a K-pop figure in the last decade. Not a few also compared Jin's visual strength and stage expression to that of famous Hollywood actors, even calling his presence an anomaly in the conventional scheme of Western fashion shows. Behind an eccentric suit and a controlling gaze, the public sees Jin not only as a music star, but also as a figure with authentic international aesthetic and visual capabilities. ARMY not only praised her performance, but also questioned the forward-looking strategy of HYB's agency. Will Jin be active in the international fashion circuit in Paris, Milan, or Tokyo? Or will it be just an exclusive look? Many have speculated that Jin's presence at LA Fashion Week is part of a larger project welcoming the launch of her personal fashion line. This allegation comes after a backstage photo of Jin showing himself with several famous brand executives who are known to rarely appear in public, except in strategic collaborative events, especially among the fashion industry. Jin's move is considered to break the boundaries of the traditional role of a K-pop idol. Not only performing, Jin really blends with the feel of the collection, understands the concept of the show, and presents the design character with convincing body articulation. A British fashion editor even wrote that the night's Jin managed to erase the line between entertainer and fashion muse, showing that Asian celebrities are no longer just objects of exoticism, but global aesthetic movers. However, not all responses were laudatory. There are also those who consider Jin's presence as a mere PR move, an attempt to revive the prestige of LA Fashion Week, which in recent years has lost its prestige on the European stage. However, the ARMY actually twisted the narrative by flooding social media with documentation of Jin's appearance, which was considered very professional, mature, and visionary. Many say that it was not LA Fashion Week that raised the genie, but it was the genie who raised the reputation of LA Fashion Week this year. To be sure, Jin has shown that he is not just a K-pop idol returning from the military. Her appearance at LA Fashion Week is a loud and clear statement that she is ready to move across a wider spectrum, not only in music, but also in the visual arts, the fashion industry, and international pop culture. The message implied by the Jin's presence that night seemed to say, "I am back, and I am more than you can imagine." For ARMY, the night was a night of emotional victory. Jin didn't speak a single word on the runway, but his presence alone was enough to convey the whole message. Many fans wrote that the moment was a reminder that Jin still has many surprises for the world. For those who had time to worry that the genie would disappear post-conscription, this appearance was the most graceful and unexpected answer. For those of you who don't want to miss other iconic moments from Jin BTS and the K-pop world, don't forget to subscribe to this channel right now. We'll continue to bring you exclusive coverage, in-depth analysis, as well as moments you might not see in other media. Stay connected, because what's happening at LA Fashion Week 2025 is just the beginning of something bigger. To Tanya ChatGPT. But amid the uproar of BTS's Jin's presence at LA Fashion Week 2025, one question arises that cannot be ignored. Is all this really real? Or are we witnessing a narrative performance that is constructed to drive public perception and reinforce a certain image? In the fast-paced information age, the line between reality and engineering is increasingly blurred. Every social media upload, short video clip, and visual snippet of the runway can be manipulated to support a particular narrative. Many are beginning to question the validity of sources claiming that Jin was actually part of the fashion show. Is it true that he physically appears on stage? Or is his appearance the result of visual editing, pre-production shooting, or even the use of deepfake technology, which is now increasingly sophisticated? The public has the right to question. Where's the original source of the video showing Jin on the runway? Who first spread it? Why is there no official documentation from the organizers of LA Fashion Week confirming Jin's participation publicly through a press release? Why is there no official statement from HITV, which has been very strict in controlling the information of its artists? We found that most of the information spread was sourced from pieces of video uploaded by fanbase accounts on TikTok and Twitter. Some claims say that Jin appeared in the closing session of a collection from a certain brand, but until this article was written, there was no direct verification from the relevant brand. This situation raises a fundamental question. Are we being victims of a viral construct systematically set up to cause a sensation? In the scheme of the global entertainment industry, it's entirely possible that an agenda like this has been designed long ago to rekindle attention on one very influential name, BTS's Jin. With his return from military service, expectations for his comeback move were high, and the public looked forward to a maneuver that was not only musical, but also visual and commercial. So the question is Jin's presence at LA Fashion Week purely an artistic expression, or is it a strategic move packaged as if it were spontaneous in order to generate a media explosion? We are not in a position to conclude right or wrong. But as journalists, we feel the need to remind readers and viewers that not everything that appears on the screen is a complete representation of the facts. It could be that we are only witnessing one fragment of reality that has been selectively curated by interested parties. Have you ever wondered why the photos of runway genie only appear from a certain angle, with almost identical lighting and angles on all platforms? Does this indicate that documentation is centralized and distributed through specific channels? Or does this indicate that the moment is not open to the public and only a few people have access to record it? And furthermore, is it possible that this furor is part of a larger effort to shift the public narrative away from the controversial issues that are afflicting HITV or the Korean entertainment industry in general? Isn't this industry famous for its ability to shape public discourse through idol figures that are made into certain icons? We do not ask you to believe just like that. Quite the contrary, we invite you not to believe directly. Use common sense. Review. Re-verify. Don't let euphoric emotions overshadow our ability to think critically. Because, as we know, the entertainment industry has long made illusion the main commodity, and at this point, it's important to note that most of the information we use comes from open sources like TikTok, Twitter, X, YouTube, and other media platforms. None of those sources can be categorized as official institutional releases. Therefore, its level of validity still needs to be tested through stronger confirmations. Therefore, as an intelligent viewer, you need to position yourself not only as a consumer of news, but also as an observer who actively filters information. Do you feel confident that Jin's appearance on the runway actually happened physically on the stage of LA Fashion Week? Or do you actually feel that this is just part of a visual narrative game that is engineered for certain interests? Ask yourself, who benefits from this preaching? Why is Korean media relatively quiet, while global social media is actually so boisterous? And is this not a new way to shape popularity through sensations that are difficult to prove? We're not attacking Jin. On the contrary, we are trying to protect public integrity from the potential manipulation of increasingly complex information. Jin is a beloved and respected figure, but precisely because of that, we must avoid blinding idolatry and start building a smart, media-conscious fan culture. Let's start a new habit. Don't share information right away before verifying. Don't believe it just because a video seems convincing. And never stop asking, who is talking? What's the motivation? And to whom is this information addressed? Because behind every visual, there is a narrative. Behind every narrative, there is interest. And our job together is to find the truth between the layers of the narrative, even if it's someone as big as BTS's Jin. Thank you for reading to the end. If you value journalistic content like this and want to keep getting unbiased analysis, don't forget to subscribe to this channel right now. We do not promise sensations, but we promise clear and reflective viewing angles. Because in the era of noise, critical thinking is the only last form of defense.